Walk with me.
My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from the words of my warring? O my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and am not silent. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee, and they trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and they were delivered, and they trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm and no man, and a reproach of men, and despise of the people. And all they that see me laugh to scorn. They shoot out the lip, and they shake the head, saying, He trusted in the I am, that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But thou art he that took me out of the womb, and thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. Psalms chapter 22. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray, my God. Establish thou me from my seed forever, that we go not astray from thenceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you that are on this platform and those shared platforms. We thank God even for those of you that have been with us from the beginning. Yes, that first one. And we thank God for those of you who have moseyed on thereafter and here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed. And we thank God for you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. We're in but we're in Jasher. Jasher chapter 26. Yes, 26. Jasher chapter 26. We stopped with verse 28. And this is where Abram, I believe he knew he was about to die, age and everything else. And maybe the Most High might have told him, your time is about up. And he had Isaac and his sons, Esau and Jacob, or Kobe, as some of you might call him. And also he had his children. He had Isaac and his children, Esau and Jacob. And he instruct them in the ways of the I am. Now in verse 29 it reads, and it was at that time that Abraham died, in the 15th year of the life of Kobe or Jacob, and Esau, the sons of Isaac, and all the days of Abraham were 175 years. And he died and was gathered to his people in a good old age. So the numbers add up. Okay? A good old age. See, there's one thing about dying young or dying prematurely, but just dying because it's God says it's time. God, he knows when to say, hey, it's time for you to go. Some live for hundreds, some live for tens of days, and some not even a few years, not even 20 years. But he lived in a good old age. And Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him. See, Ishmael came right back. Although Ishmael was born out of the womb of an Egyptian woman, he knew his father. He loved his father. His father loved him, and he knew his father loved him. And when the inhabitants of Canaan heard that Abram was dead, they all came with their kings and princes and all men to bury Abram. You see, Abram was first. He was a man, yes. He was a man, and he was a good man. He's a man that cared. And all the inhabitants of the land of Haran, and all the families of the house of Abram, and all the princes and Gandis, and all the sons of Abram by the concubines, and all came when they heard of Abram's death. And they requited Abram's kindness. That's one. His kindness. Not just because he wanted to. You have some people, they show kindness because they want people to love them. They want people to come at them. They like being the center of attention. But Abraham did this because of the I am. He did it because of God. Yes. It wasn't because of them, because they can renege on you and do things crazy, and people can withdraw their love and requite you, and they can sit up there and cause you to just be made low. But if what you do is unto the Most High, there's no one that can hurt you. There's no one that can sit up there and just eat of your food and take of your goodness and begin to do those things that are against you and bring down your name, because you do those things that you do in the name of the I am, the name of Tata and Zami, Sanini Nanini, the Heya, Yahuwah, Yahweh, yes, even Yahweh. You do it in his name. You do it in his name. Not because of people and men. You want favor from men. But when you do those things that are pleasing to God, even your enemies are at peace with you. That's scripture. Okay. Now it says, and all the inhabitants of Canaan, all the inhabitants of Canaan of that time, and all those who had known Abram wept for Abram a whole year. Abram, the man that they know that was good, the man that they know that was a neighbor that would feed people and passers-by, and if they didn't have no clothes, they would begin to give them clothes. If they needed water, if they needed their feet washed, wash their feet, however you would put it in those days. Abraham didn't just depend on a woman to do it. Abraham did it himself, him and his servants. And his wife was there, yes. But mostly men with men, women with women. That's the way it was. Now today we have all this mixed stuff. You can never have men as the friend of women and sporting about with women and little girls mixed with little boys, because those things in that nature will pop up eventually and things will get wild, whether they're married or singled, betrothed or promised. See, this is the folly of the heathen. Now, let us continue. And all the little children and all the inhabitants of the land wept on account of Abram, for Abraham had been good to them all. Yes. And because he had been upright with God and men. See, no way. I fed them. I give them clothes. You see how they treat me? It doesn't matter. If you did it in God's name, if you love people in your neighborhood, around you, or in your family, in the name of the Most High, according to his laws, statutes, and commandments, you give to God. Because they are poor. If they come against you, they're poor in their spirit, they're poor in their mind, they're wicked, they're weak. But yet, Satan have deceived you into making you think that they're strong, and he's deceived them amongst each other and that they're strong. He wants to bring you down, that you might become bitter. This is the way of the world, to become bitter because of people. Yes, you have to remove yourself from people. You have to remove yourself from those that will bring you down, or that nail that's not in a sure place. You might have to get rid of it. But the fact is that if you do things as unto the Most High, you lift his name up. Yes, you lift his way up. Now, let us continue. The faith of Abraham. What have your Isus, this made up name, made up even to declare him as God. The works Abram done, and he even brought down Abraham before Abraham was I am. Come on here. Before Abram was I am. Yes, that's true. But why did they even put that in there? Nobody wants to know that. Abraham was a good man, even in the land of Canaan, who should not have been in that land. But let us continue. Now, we're in verse 34. And there arose not a man who feared God like unto Abraham. Woo, my God. There arose not a man, because this was a man that was delivered out of the fire. Now, if this book be false, then apparently this Abraham was a man. That this fictitious story is so good, and so it's so much of an example to men, young men and old, all today, that we should pattern our life after the life of Abram. Yes, we should. For he had feared his God from his youth, and had served the I am. In other words, you have to look at how Abraham was curious about God, number one. He was curious. He did not know God. It reminds me of the song about Hey God. It was by Dax. Yes, Dax. Hey God by Dax. How this young man kept questioning God. Hey God, why this, why this? And he raps. He has a nice beat and everything, but he raps. But then that should be the question of every young man that does not know God, that has not experienced God in the way that God could reveal him, that he could reveal himself, that young man could understand. In Abraham's experience, he experienced him that these idols, there's nothing to these idols. Nothing to the sun, nothing to the moon, all the things that paganism have done and do to this day. Idols, the sun, the moon. The moon disappears. It doesn't help you. It heat up the sun and you hot. The sun does this. The moon is at night. There's nothing there. The idols, they stand there looking at you like dumbness, made of men's hands with eyes but cannot see, and a mouth and cannot talk. Then you have your dreams. Even these evil beings can enter into your dreams to give you a vision and a pattern for an idol. Let's continue. He said, there arose not a man who feared God like unto Abraham, for he had feared God from his youth, and had served the I am, and have gone in all his ways during his life, from his childhood to the day of his death. Abraham was a man of war also. Not to the point that he was a man of war in the way that you would war with kings and kings to take over lands in different parts. He was a man of war that you don't mess with me. In other words, if you come at me, I'm coming back at you. If you take what's mine, I'm coming to get it back. In other words, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. I'm for the defense. I ain't trying to hurt you. I just letting you know you can't have what's mine. Yes, I love the Lord. Yes, I love him whose name is holy. Yes, I do care for people. I do love those who are around me, and I respect people's property. I respect people's ways, their wives, their children, their handmaids. I don't covet these things because I got my own. But don't cross me, man. Don't cross me. I'm not going to hit you out of anger. I'm going to hit you because fact is, you have done evil to me, and you will continue to do evil if I do not get your evil off of me. Now, this is where your Easters came in and they tricked you. And then some of you decided, well, I just bow down and let them defecate and urinate on me for a little price, maybe a little morsel of bread. Yes, verse 35. And when the I am was with him, he delivered him from the counsel of Nimrod and his people. And when he made war with the 4 kings of Elam, he conquered them. And he brought all the children of the earth to the service of God. That was the earth of that time. See, Canaan was the center of the earth as they knew it as that time. Although people spread out from there's about and north, south, east, and west as far as you can go to America, still, this was where most of the activity was going on. This is the story about Jacob, Israel. It ain't about the Indians. It ain't about the South Africans. It ain't about Russia. It ain't about nowhere, no Arabs or no Chinese or Japanese or any. It's not about any of them. It's not about Ham. It's not about the children. It's how the children of Jacob have come into being and where this activity and where the writings were coming from. Egypt had a part to do with this, yes. That's why their writings were there. For this reason, God raised Pharaoh up, that he might show forth his power. It's the only reason why you even hear about Egypt. Other than that, you wouldn't even know Egypt existed. Now, let us continue. For he brought all the children of the earth to the service of God, and he taught them ways of the I am, and caused them to know the ways of the I am. And he formed a grove, and he planted a vineyard thereof, and he had always prepared in his tent meat and drink to those who passed through the land, that they might satisfy themselves in his house. And the I am delivered the whole earth on account of Abram. You have to remember, Abraham was just, the mindset. Although I have what is mine while I'm here on earth, I have whom I love, to whom have come out of my loins. Don't mess with them. Who are my kin, don't mess with them. But you are welcome to eat, drink, and be merry. Don't come here stealing nothing from me. I give you what I want to give you. Don't come here doing things all crazy. Don't come in my house thinking that you're going to stay forever. But the fact is, you can come, you can be warmed, you can have meat, drink, you can go outside and sleep or, wherever. But other than that, no, you can't have the other. No. It doesn't work like that. Now, he did these things, and they knew it. They knew if they didn't have a place to lay their head, they can go to the inn, Abraham's inn. He had room for everybody, enough room for the passerby. In other words, passerby, keep it moving. You get warm, you can eat, but keep it moving, brother. Keep it moving. Yes, that's what it was. Now, that they might satisfy themselves in his house. And the I am delivered the whole earth on account of Abraham, the earth as they knew it. And it was after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, even Isaac, and his children. And the I am was with Isaac, and he had been with his father, Abram. For Isaac kept all the commandments of the I am as Abraham his father had commanded him, and he did not turn to the right or to the left from the right path which his father has commanded him. Now see, this is where the commandment, honor thy parents, that their days might be long upon the earth. He honored his parents. Abraham did. He honored them, but he didn't take. He knew where they were wrong with these idols. I mean, he still honored his father, but Dad, this is messed up. Why are you doing this? There's only one God. And his father, we also see the narrative why his father was so fearful, because of Nimrod, the king at that time. In chapter 27, we're going to delve into a little of the chapter 27. And Esau at that time, after the death of Abram, frequently went into the field to hunt. And Nimrod, the king of Babel, the same was Amraphel, also frequently went with his mighty men to hunt in the field, to walk about with his men in the cool of the day. And Nimrod was observing Esau all the days, for a jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau all the days. And on a certain day Esau went in the field to hunt, and he found Nimrod walking in the wilderness with his two men. Okay, they call him a king, but basically, he was basically as Abraham, but he just had he was the ruler of the people. Now, verse 5, and all his mighty men and his people were with him in the wilderness, but they removed at a distance from him. Now, the kings that you see in the castles and all this is not the same as the king in this time and era. No, they have tents. They didn't have big castles or elaborate places. They were building them. Some had those things. Yes, they did, because they built the Tower of Babel, so they had to build houses for themselves in some way or another. But the fact is, they wasn't as spectacular as the houses that you see in the latter days during the time of the kings of Israel. Now, although the architecture and the mindset that architecture was existent, even Egypt. Now, and Esau concealed himself for Nimrod, and he lurked for him in the wilderness. Verse 6. And Nimrod and his men that were with him did not know him, And Nimrod and his men frequently walked about in the field at the cool of the day, and to know where his men were, hunting in the field. They had to get food. And Nimrod and 2 of his men were with him and came to the place where they were when Esau started suddenly from his lurking place and drew his sword and hastened and ran to Nimrod and cut off his head. Well, the fact is, Nimrod tried to burn his daddy up, his grandfather up. And Esau fought a desperate fight with the 2 men that were with Nimrod. And when they caught out to him, Esau turned to him and smote them to death with his sword. See, this is why they throw that stuff out. This is some detail that we don't know about. In other words, they're saying that I'm King James and what I say is right, or we're the Council of Nicaea and we're right. You're wrong. You must listen to us because we have officiated ourselves. To me, in today's world, we just say, hey, to torment with you, dude. Now, yes, we thank God that you wrote these words and that you wrote something down, but we can figure it out from here. Thank you. Bye. All right. Now, and all the mighty men of Nimrod who had left with him to go to the wilderness heard the cry at a distance, and they knew the voices of those 2 men, and they ran to know the cause of it. And when they found their king and the 2 men that were with him lying dead, now we remember that they knew, it said, the angel said that Nimrod, Esau, was evil. I mean, Esau was something else. He would cut your throat. Okay? In the wilderness, and when Esau saw the mighty men of Nimrod and coming at a distance, he fled and thereby escaped. And Esau took the valuable garments of Nimrod. He was a thief. That wasn't really a thief. Nimrod tried to kill his granddaddy anyway, which Nimrod's father had bequeathed to Nimrod. In other words, it was Ham. Ham had bequeathed a robe to Nimrod. Well, really, Ham stole it and gave it to Nimrod. Or should I say, who was he? Ham, Mizraim, Nimrod. Yes, Nimrod had it, yes. And bequeathed to Nimrod. This was the cloth that even Adam, that was prepared for Adam during the time of the fall. Yes. And Nimrod prevailed over the whole land, and he ran and concealed them with his house, in his house. And Esau took those garments and ran into the city on account of Nimrod's men, and he came to his father's house wearied and exhausted from the fight. And he was ready to die through grief when he approached his brother Jacob and sat before him. Now, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, he comes out of the field and he was real tired because he had did something he really shouldn't have done. But either way, this was a rugged man. He was rough. I mean, he just didn't take. If he wanted something, he'd steal it and whatever. And he got this, and this was, should I say, valuable to him? Yes, it was valuable to him. Now, it says, and when he approached his brother Jacob or Jacob and sat before him, verse 12, he said unto his brother Jacob, he said, behold, I shall die this day, and wherefore then do I want the birthright? So apparently they talked about this before, some kind of way. Nobody supplanted Jacob. Nobody supplanted Esau. According to this narrative, even the other one, if you figure it out the other way, it's still, nobody told Esau to do this. And Jacob acted wisely with Esau in this matter, and Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, for it was so brought about by the I Am. See, this was set up by the I Am. It wasn't for Esau to even have the birthright. Not at all. If that's the case, you look at Esau today, the spirit of Esau. If he would have had the birthright, he'd have made the whole thing pagan, as he's done now, and still trying to claim his birthright. And Esau's portion in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham had brought from the children of Heth for the possession of a burial ground, Esau also sold to Jacob, and Jacob brought from all this from his brother Esau for value. You know, he sold his grave to Jacob, according to this. Now, some would throw this out. Oh, you don't know. This is an angel supposed to be talking to Moses about these things. And Jacob wrote the whole of this book in a book, a whole of this in a book of what happened. And he testified the same with witnesses, and he sealed it, and the book remained in the hands of Jacob. And when Nimrod, the son of Cush, died, it was Cush, yes, and his men lifted him up and brought him into the consternation. You're walking with me. See, we were reading this, and then we're stopping, we're looking, we're pointing. This is what we're doing. It's just like we're walking through history. Okay, that's why I say walk with me. Now, all the days of Nimrod lived were 215 years, and he died. Now, that's enough time to where Abraham lived that time that he lived. Now, this is right. Now, all the days that Nimrod reigned upon the people of the land were 185 years. Yes, the numbers add up. And Nimrod died by the sword of Esau in shame and content. Now, what he did to Abraham was brought back on him. He tried to kill Abram. He tried to kill him. He put him in the fire. But the grandson came and got him back. And the seed of Abraham caused his death, as he had seen in his dream. Now, Nimrod did dream this. And at the death of Nimrod, his kingdom became divided into many divisions, and all those parts that Nimrod reigned over were restored to the respective kings of the land, who recovered them after the death of Nimrod. And all the people of the house of Nimrod were for a long time enslaved to all those kings of the land. Yes, God has a way. You know, where karma got him back, didn't it? Karma. Everybody say that, karma. I don't believe in no karma, the word karma, but I know vengeance is mine, saith that I am, and I will repay. Yes. I just did that to grab your attention. But the fact is that Nimrod got what was his sentence was thus and so in life, and his sentence would be thus and so after his separation from his body. Yes. And with that, we're going to say, until next time, peace.
Walk with me.